Hello, welcome back to Living in Fear. This week we're talking about The Last of Us, Season 2, Episode 2. We're pretty much just gonna jump right into it. This is a little bonus episodes away from the horror films, so we talk a lot before the horror films. Here we're just gonna jump into it. Again, this is Living in Fear, but today we both might be living in sorrow, right? 'Cause it happened.
Yep. Oh, but we should mention that it's full spoilers.
Spoilers? Well, yes. Okay, well, full spoilers.
For the
Trying not to
episode.
spoil the game,
Yeah, for
just
the.
for the current episode and past episodes.
Yes.
They did it. They killed Joel.
Mm-hmm.
How you feeling about it?
I mean, I already knew it was going to happen.
I mean, we both didn't expect it to happen until like the next episode, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe even episode 4. I feel like when we were watching the first episode, we're like, are they gonna do it next week? Like the premiere, and then we kind of like thought about it and we're like, no, probably not, right? Like, they did it. They did the thing. Do
Yeah.
you feel like it affected you the same way watching it in this versus the game?
Um, I don't think so. I think I was affected more by the game. And
You
it,
were already spoiled for the game too, though, right?
yeah, I was already spoiled. Yeah.
I
Um,
don't think I was, right?
no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. I I heard that there were leaks and that people were upset, but I managed to
Mhm.
avoid them.
I never actually saw the leaked footage though from the.
Yeah. But
I,
you heard like references and
mhm.
stuff. You knew what was going down.
Yeah. But even in the game though, like this seems more like gruesome in the game.
I will say there's something about playing the game, I guess, because when you're playing the game, you're playing as certain characters.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels a little more personal because it feels almost like from your POV, right? Even if you switch characters and stuff, and even if like you recognize that it's Ellie experiencing this, the fact that you're playing as Ellie, it makes it feel more like you're experiencing it
Yeah.
than just watching someone else experience it.
Man, we're diving right into the death, huh?
I mean, that's the big thing, but no, I do want to jump back to like more of the beginning of the episode, but I just wanted to get that out of the way because that's.
I mean, they all I always say is I'm glad they did it in this episode. I feel like in the show, I mean in the game, they do it at the beginning. So
Yes, and that's part of the shock. That's like you're like, "What? This game just started and you're going to do this?" Like we're not what? And I
yeah,
think that's what a lot of people felt with the episode.
yeah. I was afraid they were just gonna prolong it just because it's Pedro Pascal, and
Yeah.
I'm sure most people love this character already,
Hmm.
and they just want to keep him alive as long as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
They did the thing.
mm-hmm.
They went through with it. There was some changes with the episode versus the way things happen in the games, but like we said, we will be I'm going to compare a lot to the game probably. So there will be game spoilers, but not anything beyond where we're currently at in the story.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do our best to, we want people to experience this and have surprises and have, the emotional attachment to the story and yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah.
this episode was just so much happened.
Yeah.
It was just full of action and shit going down already. You know, they suffered so many losses already. It's like, yeah, like none of this is in the game. I think there's kind of like a reference to like an attack, well, earlier before the game
Hmm.
starts.
Okay. I
But
don't
it
remember that.
but it yeah, and this but I think it worked though. Having it just created more more stakes, more intensity because
Hmm.
just Joel trying to get back and Ellie and Jesse, stuck in the storm, and it's just chaos.
Yeah. Yeah, lot going on. A lot of bad things
Mm-hmm.
all happening at once to multiple people.
Which is cool to see. Like as someone who's played the game, yeah, I've always wondered about their defenses and how they've protected this place for so long,
Yeah.
and it was just cool to actually see them in action.
Yeah, and it was cool to see Tommy leading the charge and him in action and his wife being, in the mix too. She's a
Mm-hmm.
fighter.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he took on a bloater by himself.
Yeah. I kind of liked that scene too. I feel like him being in that little like area, it felt like a set a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but it also just made it feel like the game.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that's how games feel a little like a set sometimes because it's like you're only allowed in certain areas. Like you're very led in certain directions, and even though it may feel open world with some games, it's not always. And The Last of Us is kind of like where it's like a big area. It feels a little more open world than like some games, but it ultimately like isn't. There is a path that you kind of need to take. You can explore buildings, but only so far, and then you come across like things blocking your way.
Mm-hmm.
And so him getting backed up into that little like corner of buildings kind of felt like that for me.
I wonder if people thought he was gonna die. And I wonder if that was the intention. It's like, okay, let's make it seem like he's gonna die, like the less important character.
Hmm.
And then they'll,
Yeah. We did watch this with two people that don't know a lot about the game.
yeah,
Apparently, I had told them about Joel dying.
yeah. They were kind of shocked that they killed him off so quickly.
So, yeah, because they said they were never going to play the game.
Yeah.
And I think I might have told them then, like, before they even watched, like, the show or before we knew the show was going to be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
As they said they saw us playing it or something. I don't know, but yeah. So they knew, but they were very upset.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't even want to keep watching then. And so that's,
Mm-hmm.
that's how you feel playing the game too. You're like, you want me to keep playing after this? Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, yeah, I'm wondering about kind of like the casual audience.
Hmm.
Um, because I feel like it's not bad to kill off important main characters.
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes it's when there's more characters. Like I feel like we're attached. just to like two characters in the show, right? But like maybe like if it was Game of Thrones, there's way it's just a bigger cast and bigger characters. So like
Yeah.
if somebody dies, they're like, oh well, I still have this person.
Yeah.
Um, but in this, yeah, it's just like one of two main characters.
Yeah. But I mean, they've just introduced a lot more characters, so
Yeah, but we haven't grown attached to them yet. You know,
now
at least
that's
you know, casual people, casual watchers
yeah.
haven't.
Do we want to go back earlier in the episode and kind of we don't have to hit every like point of the episode, but just so that we're a little more organized or at least can recall certain things. So it starts with Jesse going to get Ellie for patrol.
Mhm. Well, it actually
One of the
starts.
changes, right?
Doesn't it start with a dream? With the dream
Oh yeah, yeah,
sequence?
Abby's dream. Yeah, that's right. Which so we in the game we get Abby dreaming, but it's a bit different
Yeah.
too. But it's that hallway, it's that sound, the alarm
Mm-hmm.
going off, it's the hallway with the door. Um yeah.
Actually, I'm not sure that if in the game we get that dream secret sequence at the beginning. We just get
That's
her.
what I was
We
wondering.
just get her waking up from.
She wakes up.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
But yeah, I'm surprised they even added it here so early in the show.
Yeah.
I wonder how many people actually knew that it was, or like figured it out that it was her dad. Like it's obviously somebody important to her.
Hmm.
Like don't go in there. His brains are all over the floor.
I like that addition because it's like really think about running into a room. First of all, she probably already went past a ton of dead
Mm.
bodies, right? These soldiers that she thinks are like, you know, strong and like can't just be taken out that easily, especially against just one guy.
Mm-hmm.
And she's having to go past them and then ends up in there and finding her dad dead and like seeing his brains blown out.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that would mess up anyone. And like obviously we love Joel, but like she doesn't know Joel. She doesn't care about Joel. He's the villain in her
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. She hasn't seen the show.
She doesn't know Pedro Pascal.
She just knows that he's handsome, which she says twice.
Mm-hmm. Good for him. He's handsome. So yeah, dream sequence. There's two Abbeys in it. There's the past Abby when she sees it on that day when she's younger, and then there's like the
Mm-hmm.
present Abby 5 years later telling her younger self to not go in there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she wishes she didn't see all that, you know. And then yeah,
It,
Jesse goes and gets Ellie.
I think after that's the when she wakes up, right, and she wants to, and they
Oh yeah, yeah.
realize that it's just, a,
Let's have you do this.
and they realize that it's just a city that they're gonna try to infiltrate.
Yeah.
But yes, she just goes off on her own to scout, and then like yeah, all the rest of the team doesn't want to do it. It's the same thing in the games. Like they're kind of hesitant. Like, what are we doing here? Like, there's no way that we're just gonna find this one dude amongst the city.
They're also just not all stone cold killers.
Yeah.
They don't want to kill anybody else. They're like, fine, you can do this, Abby. We'll be here. We'll let you kill this guy that killed your dad. We get it. It's fair. It's justice. But they don't really care about getting their hands dirty. And they're like, and we're not here to kill other people. We're here to kill him. That's it. we're here for you to kill him specifically, and that's it.
Yeah.
And they all look a lot younger in this than like the game, right?
Um, yeah, I guess so.
Like especially like Mel,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she looks quite a bit younger. Owen kind of does. He has a beard and stuff though, so that helps age him up a bit.
Yeah. Um, so one thing I've already heard some of the criticisms from people who have played the game.
Okay.
And one of the main criticisms is that the show is telling too much. Like it's straight up explaining to you why she's doing this, her motivations, her what they're gonna do, who they need to kill.
Hmm.
Like in the game, you don't know any of this. Like Abby, you're playing as Ellie, and you just walk in on that scene,
Yeah.
and it's like you're just looking at these people for the same. Well, not maybe not the first time, but it's just you don't know who these people are, why they did what they did, and you don't actually learn that until like way later in the game, because it's told differently. It's told like through flashbacks and
Yeah. I feel like they're not going to tell it in the same way.
yeah.
Um,
So that was one of the main criticisms. Like, why do they need to tell so much? Why don't they just show? Show, don't
but the
tell.
game is also like, 40 hours long. So you have more time to drop hints and let the gamer, the viewer, kind of like piece things together slowly. Whereas this, what, it's going to be 7 episodes?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, it's
7.
not like it's going to be like 2 or 3 seasons for the second game, but it's still, and then also, I don't know, sometimes TV watchers aren't always the most patient with things. The attention span isn't always the best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Um,
so what would have happened if they didn't tell you why she was doing this? If she just showed up and she just killed him, and you don't know anything about them. You don't know why they did it. You just know that they're from Seattle.
I think a lot of people would have been piecing stuff together anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, but do you think people are like would have been more upset? Like, why aren't they telling us anything? Who is this person? You know?
Maybe. Like, why are they trying to keep this so, like, secretive or.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
Like
there's a lot of changes with like how she finds out who he is and how he goes about things, and
Mhm.
we have we have a lot of things that lead to this happening. A lot of things had to go right, quote unquote, for Abby for it to go down this way. It kind of went down perfectly for her, right?
Yeah.
She goes to go on like patrol by herself, kind of look around the area and everything. She's about to turn around to head off somewhere else or head back or whatever, and then she hears horses. Like she's already turned her back, started to walk away, and then she hears horses, and it
Mhm.
just happens to be Dina and Joel.
Yep.
Um, and then Dina happens to be yelling for Joel at one point. So then she hears that it's Joel. And then Joel happens to save her.
Mhm.
Like there's a lot that this village happening, like the attack, the horde attacking the village, because that had Joel more anxious, like he was hurrying to get back there. So it's like, okay, fine, let's go get your people. We need people to fight anyway. We need more people to help protect my village to go get Tommy and make sure he's okay, right?
Yeah.
So he rushes with her, gets in a more dangerous situation because he's not worried about humans in that moment. He's worried about a horde of infected. And he just saved this girl, and she's like he calls her a kid, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He's not worried about this girl. He doesn't think she's there to hurt him. Why would she be? She's a kid. And then even when he's there, like, and that's one of the things I felt like he's sitting there with his hands up in the scene. And something about it, like, like I was like, it looks like he's like, I don't know if it's Pedro Pascal trying to like act scared and I'm just not buying it or what. And then I was like, you know what it is? It's him. He's not scared. He's just like, his mind is with Tommy and how to get there. He has, the town on fire behind him. And he's just looking over his shoulder, like, how do I get through this to get back there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's not thinking he's going to die. He's not scared for himself. He's just anxious to like get out of that situation and then go help his brother.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the main differences from the game is this attack is happening, and so
Mm-hmm.
that sort of changes the scene and his like urgency.
It also pairs people up differently,
Yeah, which is yeah, the
I kind of get the like Tommy being in the town thing or whatever and why
Mhm.
that can like make sense, but it was interesting that it's like Joel and Dina, but I guess that's, again because he wants to protect Dina.
Yeah.
He's more worried about her in that moment versus like maybe if it was like another like guy or something, he'd be a little more fighting back or
Mhm.
like, but he just immediately cooperates because he doesn't want Dina to get hurt.
He doesn't want his daughter's best friend to die, you know.
I mean, I feel like they've shown that even him and Dina have like a bond. It's
Yeah.
clearly not like a father daughter bond, but they clearly do get along with each other, like each other. Like there's mention of, them doing things together and stuff. Like, so I think Joel is important to Dina too. And also Dina's being nice to him, whereas like his own quote unquote daughter, Ellie, isn't.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely I mean, I guess we can spoil this for the game, right? How this scene went differently.
Which one?
This scene, like who's actually in the scene and not Dina.
In the killing scene?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah, so in the game it's not Dina, it's Tommy that's there.
Yeah. It's Tommy and Joel.
And then when they realize, oh shit, this is a trap or these people are going to kill us, Tommy like reacts and tries to pull out a gun, but they knock him out.
Yeah.
And so it's just Jewel there. Well, it's kind of same thing happens, but they didn't they didn't knock him out
Yeah.
with a syringe.
But a lot of people had a problem because they didn't think it made sense that Tommy and Joel got tricked by these people and that they had their guard down
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. So this is, you know, them changing things so that maybe for the mainstream audience it does make more sense. I liked it in the game just fine.
Yeah, same here.
I have very few issues with the game. I understand people's complaints on certain things. I myself, that's like one of the things people complain about. And I'm like, I
Mm.
get it. I didn't have that same issue. I feel like I can justify it in my mind, but teach their own.
Yeah, I mean, I could justify it. I mean, you could pretty much justify anything if you think about it long enough, right?
I mean, yeah.
And you can find plot holes and anything. Like
Yeah.
in the show, why are they still sending a 60-year-old man on patrol? You know?
I mean, hey, he looks pretty good for 60.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess in the game, I always thought of it as like they've kind of lived a calm life now in Jackson, as opposed to Joel just always being on the run and killing people.
Yeah.
And I feel like that just kind of softened him a little bit and like
Yeah.
left him open to
And that's all
attack.
it takes is one time.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think I like about it is it's like he could have been on his guard 99% of the time. The one time he lets his guard down is the one time it screws him over. And that's kind of life. And
Yeah,
I think that's why I like it.
yeah, yeah. That's the way I saw it too. And then
Yeah.
yeah, and but in this, yeah, it's completely different because he's just got other priorities in his head somewhere else.
Yes. So I think that'll make more sense to most people instead of it being like, oh, why did he do this? Um, and then Ellie is out with Jesse in this versus the game. She's the one with Dina.
Mm-hmm.
I, what did you think of, what did you think of everyone's performance during the main scene?
The death
Yeah.
scene.
Uh-huh. So Abby,
Uh-huh.
how did you feel about Abby?
I feel like I feel like she's doing a great job. But I'm also, I've also played the game, and I feel like Laura Bailey just does an excellent job in that scene too. And
I
I
think that's
just,
going to be the problem is that it's impossible for us to not compare it to the game.
yeah,
So I do wonder about, I want to hear more people's perspectives that don't have that comparison.
yeah, it's just different. It's just different though. It's like
It's different.
in the game, she's just, the voice acting is on par, and just physically how Abby looks, she just looks like
Yeah.
a just terrifying, imposing figure. Terrifying and imposing figure.
I think, I feel like Caitlin Deaver did everything correct. I really saw all her choices and think they all made sense. But there was just something that just was missing. And I think it's because I have that comparison. And yeah, it's just, it felt very like it's like I'm watching a really good actor and I'm watching all of the choices that they've made. I'm not just straight seeing Abby.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is how I felt with like Bella Ramsey doing Ellie as well.
Yeah.
And Pedro Pascal, I think his thing is different enough. And like I said, like, I was like watching it, like, why is he like he's holding his hands up almost like he is scared, but he doesn't seem scared. And then I'm like, like start doing the reasoning in my head why it's like that. And it's because he's just anxious to get to Tommy and stuff. So I feel like it starts to make sense. And then I okay with that. And I buy him as Joel, you know, despite Pedro Pascal being in everything and me constantly being like, oh, it's Pedro Pascal, but like the voice he does and stuff, like I do see him as like a different version of Joel. But he's Joel. He's the TV show Joel.
Yeah. it, it just man, it just depends how this season's gonna portray these characters and
How
how
did
it.
you like how did you like Ellie?
Yeah, I'm still like, I don't know. I just don't know how if she's gonna be able to pull it off.
Yeah. But how do you Do you feel like she pulled off this scene?
Yeah. No, no, it was. Yeah, it was like her cries are just like gets you, you know, especially when she sees him die.
I still feel like it just didn't have the emotion. And okay, when I played the game, I don't think I was shocked that they killed him, and I don't think I had the same like emotional attachment to Joel everybody else did.
Mm-hmm.
I think this scene was very much, and the way the game was advertised, I really saw it as an Ellie forward game. And I think I just really like Ellie. And I think now that I've played both games, it makes me respect Joel more, and I like Joel more now that I play them again. But originally, I wasn't like as attached to him. So in that scene, I think it was more Ellie's emotions and stuff that impacted me than like the Joel thing. Um, I don't know that it didn't hit me the same way. Like I said, I think that's a big part of like the point of view difference because when you're playing the game, when he dies and it does that sound effect where it's like you just hear like a whistling in the ears, like the like muffled noises and everything, like they
Yeah.
did the same thing in this.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason it just did not hit me the same way. And I think that's because I'm watching Bella playing Ellie instead of like me, the gamer, playing Ellie, where it feels like it's happening to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just like, so it didn't have the same emotional impact. And I feel like I've had like moments in my life where like something really bad has happened and you like do almost get that like ringing in your ears, like muffled sound, like where it's like something hits so hard that you're just like in a different place. It's such a strange feeling. And I think that's why I like this game so much because I like relate to like things like that. And I just think they get it so right.
Yeah. Yeah, that scene in the game is perfect.
And Ashley Johnson, dude.
Yeah, I think even the sounds just it all means something. Like it's just the start of like trauma, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like how do you portray that?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a little different day, especially the way he dies in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like she stabs him through the neck. And it's like, yeah, he ain't coming back from this, people. Like, he's dead. Like, they were very clear. Nope, he is dead
Yeah.
instantly. And then the fact that, like, Ellie goes and crawls to him, and pulls it out, that's like all different. I think another thing that I am missing from the show version is the fact that, like, Dina is the one that, like, because, like, Ellie gets, like, knocked out, right? She's kind
Mm,
of, like, knocked out.
in the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ellie gets knocked out, yeah, right after everything happens.
Yeah. And then you hear like she's starting to come to, and then you hear Jesse and Dina coming. You hear like Dina yell, Jesse, they're in here. And Dina immediately goes like to Ellie and is like, I'm so sorry. And that is like such another like big gut punch. And I miss that being in here.
Yeah, I mean, we can't. Yeah, I feel like I find myself doing that a lot too. It's like comparing it to the game, and
Yeah, it's just impossible not to. I will say I love that they cut to Ashley Johnson singing.
oh yeah, that was great.
That was like that gave me more of a like gut punch, If they hadn't cut to that, I don't know. I think that was a really good choice. And then also you know, them all leaving wounded. Like, it's not like they like had like time to like really compose themselves, and like Dina's still like freaking knocked out and like out of it riding a horse.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jesse clearly had to come in and like get everyone together. Ellie is still like, I'm sure she's still physically hurting, but now she's emotionally hurting and a wreck. And then he had to gather Joel and cover him up, tie him to a horse, and then like be bringing all these like wounded and one dead person back to a village that's pretty destroyed too. So that's going to be interesting to see. But it was also very, in the first season when Joel gets hurt, remember Ellie is dragging him while he's wounded behind her on the horse, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now that's happening again, but this time he's not coming back from that.
Yep. R.I.P. Pedro.
Also, just it was an interesting choice that Ellie wanted to go on the patrol with Joel, but then Joel wanted her to be able to sleep in.
Yeah.
That was like,
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
wondering how that'll impact Ellie.
the conversation she has with Jesse about the relationship between her and Joel, it hints that they did talk, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no, we're all better now, unless
Um,
she's just lying.
so there's one little thing. So he took the guitar in the last episode, right? To
Mm-hmm.
get her new strings.
Yeah.
When she wakes up, the guitar's in her room with new strings on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So clearly something was said between them. They're clearly not, they clearly haven't made up, but she even says we'll always be Joel and Ellie. But it's also kind of like, she's just kind of like, everybody leave me alone. Like, I'm mad at him. Like, I'm not going to like hate him forever. I'm not going to like, he's still Joel to me. I'm beyond pissed off at him right now for whatever reason. It's kind of none of your guys' business. It's between me and him. But like, you know, we're still in each other's lives. And that's how, like that's how family is sometimes. Sometimes with your family, you get pissed off and you go time without talking to them. And I mean, some people cut people completely out of their lives, but a lot of the time with family, especially if you really do truly love each other, like you'll fight and you'll be like, we're not seeing eye to eye on things right now or whatever. And then it's like, but I still love that person. Like I still,
Yeah. I mean,
and I think that's just
teaches us a
where
valid
she's at.
it teaches a valuable lesson of try to repair a relationship before they're gone, because you
Yeah.
never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a common thing they always
Yeah.
say. Always tell your loved ones you love them. You never know if it's going to be the last time you see them. Like, and and anybody who has lost someone while they've been on bad terms, like
Mm-hmm.
that's an awful feeling. And even when you haven't been on bad terms, even like, but maybe you had the little fight, or maybe you know, there's anytime somebody dies, you're looking at your last interaction with that person or last few interactions and thinking over everything. Did I do it right? Did they know I love them? Why was I being so petty about this thing or something like? the last thing I said was this,
Yeah.
and now she gets to, live with the fact that her last few times interacting with Joel hadn't been the best, that she had been pretty standoffish with him. And he had been clearly trying to give her space, but also clearly trying to, like, he was going to therapy and stuff, trying to, like, get things better between them.
Mm-hmm.
So it is sad that ultimately these two characters that you care about and that you like want them to have a good relationship, it's sad that how things ended.
Yep.
I will say another change from the game, minor thing, but just in the game you go downstairs, right?
Mm-hmm.
To go to the door where Joel is being
Yeah.
beaten.
Like the basement or something.
Yeah. But it's like it's this like hallway to a door, similar to like, Abby going to the hallway to the door to her dad being dead. You got those parallels going, and it's just like a haunting image.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm afraid to say more just because I don't want to spoil the game.
Yeah.
Because I already know like some of the like some of the parallels that we could be talking
Yeah.
about. But yeah,
Um,
there are definitely parallels between
oh yeah, for sure.
Abby and Ellie. And dads and loved ones dying and
I do want to
revenge.
talk about Abby. So she's going like full on ham on Joel. Like she's like punching him with her fists, like just punching him, not even just like she beats him with like a golf club, punches him, stabs him in the neck with the thing to finally end it. But like she did tell him she was going to kill him slowly. She
Mm-hmm.
didn't lie. But so she's doing that to try and get revenge for her dad, right?
Yes.
But she wants to prolong it partially for him to feel all this pain, but it's also because like she's feeling pain. She's trying to transfer her pain onto the person that did the bad thing, right? She's feeling bad. This is her way of trying to get even, but also to try and like heal herself from this pain, right? Like clearly she hasn't been able to let this go for 5 years. She's just been like seething and planning.
Yeah.
And then it's over. She finally kills him and then goes to leave, but it's like, does she look any happier, you know?
Yeah, it's like reading a good book and you never want it to end. And once it ends, you're like, well, now what?
Yeah, exactly. And now guess what? Her dad is still dead. She's still feeling that. And so, you know, now she now all she has to focus on is the pain from that. She can't, continue to plan how to kill the person that did that because that part's done with.
Yeah, and it's been 5 years too. So like she's been holding this grudge forever, and when you hold a grudge like that for a long time, it's just gonna eat you up inside.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't know. That's the thing about like, grieving and everything is there's not really any easy way to do it. You can try and take your pain out in different ways, but ultimately, like, you do just need to face the actual thing that's causing it. You have to accept that your dad is dead. You have to, accept that that's not changing. Killing the one that didn't isn't necessarily going to make you feel better.
Yeah.
And now she just made Ellie feel the same thing. But clearly she doesn't care about that.
Yeah, we didn't have that small bit of dialogue in that scene that was in the game where
Which part?
the others were like, or one of them says, or it pulls a gun and is about to shoot Ellie, and it's like, what are you doing? It's like, oh, we're cleaning up, we don't want any witnesses. And then Owen's like, no, 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 we just came here for him and that's it.
Yeah.
If we kill that everybody else, then we're no better than he was.
Mm-hmm. I think the crew especially like it's Nora, right? That's there.
No, yeah,
Nora, Mel, Owen,
I mean everybody's
and
there.
then Danny or Manny. Uh yeah, but Manny he he doesn't seem to be the best type of person. He doesn't spit on Joel in this like he does in the game, but he still calls him an effing pendejo and everything. Um, but the other ones just they don't seem happy about this all. Like they're just like happy to get it done with. Like they all seem kind of like disturbed by it, and especially like Mel, you see her like gathering her stuff to leave, and she just looks really like maybe it's also because she looks like the youngest out of them all. She just looks so like disturbed and
It is weird that they just leave too. They just like leave right away as soon as it's done. Like, all right, we're still gonna keep you alive, and you're still like conscious. Just gonna leave you here.
what with Ellie?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, she's weak. She's hurt. They took her weapon. They just need to get out of there because they know more people are going to come.
Yeah, I'm just curious to see how the rest of the season's gonna go, and if I buy what Bella is gonna have to do.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I'm not sure if I buy that Abby is such this military trained person yet.
Yeah.
Which I guess you don't really know at the beginning of the game.
I feel like she shows like some little moments,
Mm-hmm.
like her, like, sliding down the hill with her gun. And
Yeah.
like she did like some things where clearly like she has like
Right.
some training and doesn't just look like a child running around.
Yeah,
But yeah.
she did the ladder slide.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like they're gonna like so much shit's gonna happen that I'm just wondering if they'll be able to pull it off. That's all I'm gonna say.
What'd you think about the people noping out of there with the flamethrowers?
Wow, that was funny. Yeah. Oh, fuck, man. I would get out
For
too.
Tommy.
Huh.
Tommy's like, what the heck? And the other guy that like stuck with Tommy, he just looks like, what?
I don't blame them.
I feel like that scene all looked pretty good. It was like you could tell it probably cost a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
but they still didn't like they probably could have done even more, and I'm happy that they didn't because it's like please don't like this doesn't need to be some huge thing, but it was still big. I'm sure it still costs like a fortune, but not compared to like some other like Game of Thrones battles or something.
I'm still confused on how the infected work in this
Yeah. That's
show.
what I was gonna ask you. So like the things are growing in the pipe. How do they get rid of it?
You have to burn it, probably.
But if you burn it, is it then gonna send
Signals, probably.
yeah, so then they're gonna come anyway, so it's just kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I don't know, cause this. Yeah, I guess I'm a little confused because they insinuated that this whole attack was because of the tentacles in the pipes.
Hmm.
But also, Abby was the one that woke them up. Did that seem strange to you?
So I think the thing did Abby wake them up first or did the pipe? I think Abby woke them up first, right?
Well, the pipe thing happened at the end of the first episode. We saw the
It
tentacles
sh
waking up.
well, it showed them, but it didn't show them being disturbed yet. I
I
don't
mean,
think they were disturbed yet until the guy like hit them with.
no, they were disturbed. Yeah,
They were like
because
moving around but I don't think they like fully sensed.
well,
Well, I guess
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how
yeah.
exactly this works.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because yeah, somebody dropped one of those stupid firecracker things. What is like next to it, and the heat caused it to for them to start moving.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I don't know if like okay,
It just
so
seems like they were going after Abby, but then they got distracted by the town.
yeah, it just seemed like a different attack on Abby. Like that was a whole different horde or something.
I just thought that was the same, like part of the same horde. I thought what happened was I
Mm-hmm.
thought Abby woke up that group, and then in the town, the guy was like working on the pipe and then disturbed the tentacles or whatever you want to call them that were in the pipe. Like he like physically like touched them and hit them,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so then it drew the attention away from Abby to the town. It like sent the signal. So then the horde that was already after Abby then started also going after the town, and like more hordes maybe woke up and went towards the town too.
Yeah,
Especially because like she like ended up going uphill. I don't know. It's just
yeah,
kind of like, like when they're chasing one thing, but then that thing kind of like starts to get away and then they hear a noise somewhere else. Like you can throw a bottle in a different direction and then it's like, ooh, bottle. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't really, I want to know more to this like mechanic
mm-hmm.
and how they work. And I just wonder how they would like even go about
Yeah. I mean,
killing them.
to
And
me, it just wasn't clear what the heck was happening.
no.
Like, did the tentacles call wake them up, or was it Abby that woke them up? Was it him hitting the pipe that redirected them, the horde, or were they just destined to come since the end of episode one? And then another thing is why did they start going when they were at the wall? Why did they start going in the other direction? Like, why did they find Why did they start flanking? Is what I'm asking.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I think Tommy says they found a breach or whatever, but he says that before they actually breach. he, he like the
I think he's just
bloater.
saying they're gonna breach. I think he sees that the bloater is coming
Mhm.
and then starts to see kind of like the them not being able to hold them back
Okay,
anymore, and like they're all against the wall, and then a bloater's coming and he's like they're about to break through. Like we like haven't done enough. There's too many of them against the walls, and now a bloater's coming.
but they did know how to flank though. Like, are they that smart that they just kind of found a different weakness in the perimeter?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because it seems like they followed the bloater, and the bloater is the one that burst through first. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I would want. I need some more explanation. Cool. What else? What else happened in the episode?
Like that's like the main of it, right?
Cool. Well, then, how long have we been going?
Like an hour.
All right, we should start wrapping it up then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, overall, I feel like. Did you think this episode is better than the first one?
It's just so different.
Yeah.
Um, I think I like the first one better. I think I'm still not, I don't know. I don't think this had the emotional impact for me that like the game had.
Mm-hmm.
I also like there's certain times when like characters are like the Jesse going to get Ellie in the morning is very much the game,
Yeah. That's
like
the.
line for line almost.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wonder if they paid attention to their like game counterparts, like delivery or something. Because yeah, I don't know if it's just me comparing it to the game or something, or like what. Like sometimes it just doesn't flow as much as like other scenes that aren't from the game. Um, again, like I like a lot of the choices the actors make, and I see all the choices, but sometimes it's just that. Sometimes I am physically seeing the like the beats hit beat by bit, like by Bella or by Jesse or like whoever. And that's the thing, like even I hate talking about freaking Twilight. But as like someone who read Twilight, and then watched the movie, like there are certain things that people that didn't read the book and are like, why are they doing that? That's so freaking weird that Robert Pattinson is doing that or Kristen Stewart is doing that. And I'm like, yeah, but that's like exactly how it's described in the book. And I could see like each like moment that they're doing. And it's like, oh, this is like, the exact emotion. This is the exact like way it's described. And so I don't know if that takes me out of it or if it's because it really is like sometimes them not blending fully as the character. It's just someone portraying the character, not them being it.
Yeah.
But I don't, like I said, I don't know if that's a me issue, if that's because I have something to compare it to. But then I look at like the last episode with like Dina, and there were things straight out of the game that Dina was doing, and I just bought it. Like I buy her so much as like Dina. So I don't know.
Yeah, we're just biased. I'm wondering, yeah, I feel like most people like are really loving all the characters, right? And all the actors and how they're portraying the characters. Like most casual watchers that haven't played the game.
Yeah. I think I just like them the most when it's like not always exactly from the game. But again, like I think that they're doing a really good job. I just feel like sometimes I see the actor and not the character. And I
Yeah.
see the actor making the choices and they're good choices. So that's why I'm so like conflicted on it. But I don't know. Overall, I like it. I think people are very mean to Bella,
Yeah. And
and
I
it's
feel like
annoying.
it's yeah. Well, yeah, I guess it's not specifically the gamers. It's just
No, it's just people in
yeah,
general being
people in
really
general.
mean.
Yeah.
And I think it's based on looks,
Mm-hmm.
which I think shouldn't even be a discussion. And I hate that it has to be mentioned and that people bring up looks for characters and what Bella does or doesn't look like, because I don't think it matters. And I really like Bella Ramsey as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just, yeah.
I do understand.
I,
I do understand why they're making her seem more of a brat in the show
why do you think that is?
because what she turns into later on. Like I feel
Yeah.
like all of that
You mean
she's
that there's
she,
character development and an
yeah,
art
she's gonna
and
yeah, she's gonna regret
weird.
all that.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. She's going to regret right now that she was mean to Joel
Yeah.
now that he's dead. She's going to regret that. But also, she's a freaking
Mm-hmm.
teenager. That's just how some teenagers are. I was a moody teenager. I was a huge tomboy. I didn't like cuss and stuff, but I was like sarcastic and I was just more shy and introverted. So maybe if I was more extroverted, I would have been a lot more like this version of Ellie. And so when there's like people that I know in my
Mm-hmm.
life that, are bad mouthing Ellie
Yeah.
and Ella Ramsey and stuff, it's just like,
I mean, there's a reason why she's like that. Why she's
yeah,
energetic and full of life and doesn't care about
yeah.
being, she's immune, so she doesn't get care about she being bit or but
But
because
I
she
just,
will change, and it's like you're gonna wish she had more moments like that because she's just gonna turn
I
into a
feel like
different
people
person.
are, people are harsher against people that they, you know, don't find stereotypically like good looking.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a lot of people being mean.
Yeah.
And I think I'm curious because I feel like this Abby is a lot cuter. She's a lot more feminine than the game Abby. So I feel like people might not hate Abby as much in this, despite what she just did to Joel.
Yeah.
And I think that's,
Yeah. Can you imagine if she
that's
was
the
ugly and buff?
that's the pretty privilege.
People
Yeah.
would be hating her already.
Yeah. But instead, since Bella is more the less feminine, more tomboy type character, like, and like Ellie in the game is too, but Ellie in the game is like still like, I don't know. It's upsetting. not even to get into the fact that, you know, Ellie is gay and people are against that, which is stupid. 2025. So on that note,
Mhm.
I just really like the show. I
Yeah.
think they're doing a good job. I might have my problems with it, but overall, I like it. Overall, I think Bella Ramsey's doing a great job. I think Pedro Pascal, despite him being in everything nowadays, and you always recognize him as Pedro Pascal, he does still, like, it looks like him, but the acting is different enough that I still buy him as Joel. I think
Yeah.
he made Joel his own. And I think I'll really like Jesse. I think he was a really good casting choice.
Mm-hmm.
And Tommy, I think, is like super different in this. So I think that it's easier for me to differentiate between like game Tommy and this
Yeah.
Tommy.
I'm curious to see his
He
arc.
sounds pretty similar, but like he looks different and he also his story is different too.
Yeah.
We're not really seeing a ton of like shot for shot Tommy moments. So yeah, excited for the next one.
Me too.
And if
Yeah.
you don't like it, that's okay. Just be kind in your critiques.
Because it's only gonna get more gay and progressive
And woke.
and woke, especially when a certain character is introduced. Which I feel like that character will not be introduced in this season.
Yeah.
Doesn't it
No,
feel
I
like
don't
it?
think so.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't think it's been cast.
yeah.
I don't think either characters have been cast. Yeah. I'm interested to see where it goes. And it's fun to have our own surprises, you know? I like that they're making some changes. Cool.
I wonder how many people are gonna drop off because of Pedro.
Yeah.
Do you think any? Well, let me retract that. Do you think actually anybody's actually gonna drop off? I feel like that's what the common saying is like, oh, once Pedro's out, people are gonna
Um,
stop watching.
so maybe not right away. Maybe they'll give it a shot still. I will say though, in Walking Dead, there was a very big turn of events where certain characters died. And I was quite upset based off of it. And I tried to watch longer. And then eventually, I think before the end of like that season, I stopped watching.
Hmm.
And it's just sometimes it's just, you know, it's just not the same without certain characters.
We can spoil Walking Dead, right?
I don't know.
It's been like 20 years. Feels like
I
20
don't
years.
know. It doesn't matter. I'm sure people will know who I'm talking about anyway. We'll just say it's the Negan season. That'll be spoilery enough. Despite me really liking Negan, it wasn't enough for me to keep watching.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you know, if Joel was somebody's like main draw and they still like give it a fair shot after he's not in it,
Yeah.
you know, at least they gave it a shot.
I think, yeah, something really needs to happen in the next episode. Like, I feel like a complete shift or something. I think we're going to see more Seattle stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if, I don't know if, do you think if the show starts following Abby's story, that people will be into it? Like in this next episode, I mean.
Maybe.
Yeah, I just don't know.
I think we'll see. Like I said, she's cute. She's an attractive actress. I think that, you know, sometimes can really have an effect on people, whether they want to admit it or not.
Yeah.
I just, I know people in my life that I see the way they talk about certain people, and I see, like, the like grace that they give to certain people and not to others, even though like two people can do the same thing. So we'll see.
Cool. All right.
All right,
Wrap it up.
wrap it up.
You're this is your episode.
I guess so. Okay. Well, I mean, we'll be here. I mean, we have a new episode of the horror film part of the podcast coming out this week, and then we'll be watching the next episode of Last of Us next week.
Mm-hmm. All right. Bye bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.